Hi everyone, it's Genene, and today we have a yoga tutorial for you filled with modifications for Setu Bandha Sarvangasana or bridge pose. You will need a few props, a chair, and a wall or even a half wall. And then let's get started. If you cannot come down to the floor safely, then here's what you would do sitting in a chair. You're going to scooch forward and then bring your hands behind you. You can bring them way back or just right beside your hips. You're not going to go as far if they're by your hips. If you have a bolster, I do not film my videos with bolsters in case you don't have one. You would take the bolster longwise behind you on your chair back, and then you could lean against the bolster. This does not work with blankets. With the hands wherever you've chosen them, you're going to push down with the hands. See how the arm bones pull forward? Pull them back. And then inhale, lift the chest. And exhale, stay here. So this is your modification. Again, if you need to do this sitting in a chair. Bridge pose itself is not the hugest back bend. So don't think, oh, I'm not doing anything. Yes, you are. Let's come down to the ground for more modifications. One modification is feet on chair seat. And you'll see, I think you'll see right away why this is a great modification. Elevating the feet gives you something more to push into. And so you start with the heels on the chair seat. And if you have a slippery chair seat, throw another yoga mat, not a blanket, a mat, on top of that chair seat so you won't slip. Then you lift up as if you're lifting into bridge, and the feet come down. Lift. See, you might be able to go higher. And then you would lower down. This modification works if you have a wall. Even if you just have a half wall, that's all you need. Here's how to get into it. Lie down on your backs. You're going to face the wall, and eventually you are going to have your legs bent 90 degrees when you put your feet on the wall. So, feet on the wall, knee height, and bent 90 degrees. So if you need to scooch. If your hips are too far away from the wall, your hamstrings will have to do a lot of work and you'll find it very difficult to get up. So that's one little clue if this is super challenging. And if you can't see where you're at, ask a friend. Now turn on your pelvic floor, engage your glutes, and inhale, lift the hips. Hang out here, breathe. And then lower down. If you have knee pain, walk your feet away from your glutes. Enough. That's right for you. Or if you have any knee injuries, replacements, all of these are for your modifications. If you go too far, then your hamstrings will have to do too much work. So play around with this and try lifting up. But first, make sure that your feet are still hip bone width apart and they have not turned out. Okay. Keep them parallel and then lift up. And then lowering down. If you have the opposite thing going on, if your hamstrings cramp, try walking your feet closer to your glutes. And then lift up, and that puts it more into your glutes. And you play around with this if you don't have these issues. It's still fun to play around and feel the difference in your body. And then lower down. There is a restorative version of bridge pose that includes a block. So you put the block on level 3, the highest level here, if that works for you. And you're going to lift the hips as if you're about to do bridge, and then place this on the sacrum, which is right above the tailbone. So you're looking for a bone. Do not put this on your low back. It will hurt. So you push down, you lift up. If you have the opposite thing going on, if your hamstrings cramp, try walking your feet closer to your glutes. And then lift up, and that puts it more into your glutes. And you play around with this if you don't have these issues. It's still fun to play around and feel the difference in your body. And then lower down. There is a restorative version of bridge pose that includes a block. So you put the block on level 3, the highest level here, if that works for you. And you're going to lift the hips as if you're about to do bridge, and then place this on the sacrum, which is right above the tailbone. So you're looking for a bone. Do not put this on your low back. It will hurt. So you push down, you lift up, and then place the block underneath the sacrum. And if you are heavier, longer, if you have a lot of weight, make sure that you have a block that is sturdy enough that won't squish or bend underneath you. And then play around if you need to, so that you should be able to hang out here. And I can feel myself that I chose my block that is not my most sturdy block. So it wobbles. So I really wanted to show you that. And then to come out, you need to lift your hips a little higher so that you can release the block, and then slowly lower down to the floor. If you have sciatica, that might not be the best option for you, because it might put pressure right there where you're in pain. In that case, you could use a bolster instead. It's not high enough, but it's not the end of the world. Don't worry. It's great. It will work. Or you could use one of these other options that I'm showing you. Now, we've had many different options. Which one do you want to choose? Get all the props you need or no props, and let's all do bridge pose together. Ready? And I'll walk you through a little bit more intense bridge. And lift up. So if you would like to go further, you could roll the shoulders under gently and clasp the hands. If you're in the full bridge pose, if you're in one of the modifications, you might be ignoring me, and that's fine. And just make sure your feet are parallel and they didn't turn out so that you could lift up. And then you can just notice things about your pose. You're pushing straight down through the feet and lifting up through the hips. I have a 5-week bridge course. So if you want to dive deeper into bridge pose and really work on drills and yoga poses that will help strengthen and get you more flexible for this pose, that's what the series is going to teach you. And let me know if you're interested. I'll give you the information. Now release your hands and lower down. And take a moment here. Make sure you click that like button if you like this video. That lets me know you want more videos like this, tutorials on a specific pose, for example. And let me know in the comments what you liked about this video. It really helps me decide what I'm going to have for you next. And then let me know if you want, for example, you want a quick morning yoga sequence, a quick evening yoga sequence, more tutorials like this. I can't wait to hear. Thank you so much for joining me. Namaste.